It's Mario Lloyd, also known as Real Estate Guru PK, with the Realist Podcast. On the Realist Podcast, we talk about how to make a dollar, how to keep a dollar, and we touch on hot topics. We're launching my Patreon with my whole real estate portfolio, and you're also going to get the podcast before it goes out on all the platforms. You can find me on Instagram at Real Estate Guru PK. You can find me on YouTube at Real Estate Guru PK. And you can find my podcast on Instagram, The Realist Podcast. How y'all doing? It's The Realist Podcast. We got my co-star, Miss Turner.
Hello.
We got the one and only Queen Maker. She's about to kill it, and she got this dope event. I'm gonna let her talk about it.
Yes, indeed. Well, thank you. So we out here in Houston, Texas, and I'm glad that I was able to come on to the show. But I have an event for the ladies, February 14th, Valentine's Day, and it's called Own Your Throne. And this is for women who are ready to really pour into themselves, and they're not sitting around waiting on somebody to love them or to give them a gift or anything. They want to come out, they want to mix and mingle and learn about love. So this is going to be a full day event that's going to be split up into two parts, and the second half of our event is the evening ball. We're going to have live entertainment, poetry, keynote, a lot of good food, and a lot of great opportunities to network with like-minded women. So that's going to be in the evening. But earlier in the day, if you would like to be a part of that as well, it's going to be covering my workshop called Love, Men, and Manipulation Decoded, where I teach you the fundamentals of what love is in connection with male neurology and male biology, to see that the thing that you're looking for men to give you is not there. You can only get this from yourself. And then I'll show you how to use that same framework to peep through manipulation. In other words, peep through muddy water and spot dry land. That's what that's about. So I look forward to seeing y'all on Valentine's Day. Yes. And if you want to get your tickets, you can go to princellaclark.com and click events.
I reached out to you at tonight's conversation. We spoke a little bit,
Yeah.
and then I spoke with your publicist
Yeah.
or your manager,
Yes.
Jasmine, and we're here. Miss Turner's a huge fan. She's been asking me to try to get you on.
I have.
Awesome.
So-
I'm happy you're here.
So yeah, we're here. So how you been?
I've been excellent. I can't complain.
So you're like, you said you're like almost an hour from downtown.
About 45 minutes.
45 minutes.
Yeah.
So you want to start with the book? You want to start off with the book?
Yeah. What you want to know about this book?
Okay. So what is it about?
Well, the book is called 41 Shades of Men,
Okay.
The Pursuit to Subdue and Use You. So I wrote this book when I came to the conclusion about who men were. I've been studying men directly and indirectly for approximately 25 years. And so when all of the information just clicked, I was able to create different archetypes of men and the reasons that they pursue women. Because you a man, you know,
I'm a man.
you got needs,
I do.
and you know, and men know other men, and you know that other men have needs too.
Okay.
And not all men have the same needs up front. Every man's needs rotate. So one man might need a place to stay. Another man just might need some head. Another one might need his credit fixed,
Okay.
right? And so men will choose women based on what they need her for at the time.
Okay.
And so a lot of women are going through a lot of confusion with the guys that they find themselves dealing with. And so they, due to confusion and blindness, women end up being for the streets, riding a peacock carousel, looking for a special type of man, and they never figured out. And then they quote unquote hit the wall looking for. That's how that goes. And so, to cut down on women's confusion and their blind spots, I give them a book that will let them see the men that they would potentially be dealing with before they get themselves in too deep.
Okay.
That way, it will put the responsibility and the power in the women, because you often hear men say, well, you chose him. When women start complaining, you chose him, right? And ultimately, that's the truth. But whether you know or not, it's still your decision. So, people sign contracts all the time. And then when they get screwed in the contract, they come to complain, but you didn't read the fine print. So that's on you.
Okay.
So no matter how you slice it and dice it, ignorance is not an excuse for the decisions that you make. You still got to suffer the consequences. Well, women can mitigate their risks, and they can mitigate the impact of their decision making if they just enlighten themselves. So that's what the book is for.
That's cool.
I really appreciate the book as a woman, because I think you also mentioned it in the book that men, they grow up being put on game about women.
Yes.
But women aren't put on game about men.
Correct.
And so a lot of times we fall into most of these 41 different types of men. So how did you come to identify 41 different motivations behind men?
I sat there and thought about it.
Okay.
I thought about it. It started off with me looking at news articles. And so when I was on TikTok, I would just tell the women, I'll pull up a specific news article or something, and I'll say, now this is this type of man, this, and then it was like, you know what? I know that there are multiple types of men. So I was online, and I just took out a piece of paper, and I just started writing all the different types of men down. And ultimately, I ended up with 41. But there are still a few of them that I even thought about even after that. And one of them is the culturally repressed man. A culturally repressed man is a man whose culture requires that he marry somebody in the culture. But a lot of those guys don't want to marry without exploring, because they're not allowed to have premarital sex and things like that in some of these cultures. So a lot of them will leave and come to the United States or the UK or even Africa. And then they will create fictitious relationships with women over here just to get all of their needs met at the time. And then when they're ready to marry somebody from their culture, they'll dump her and then go back over there. That's how that goes.
I've seen a couple women on TikTok share their story about that.
And so women put themselves in these situations because a lot of women are very desperate to have a man. And a lot of women are very desperate to fulfill a fantasy. So they're open to any man that would give them the illusion of the fantasy. And even if he doesn't give them the illusion of the fantasy, she'll ignore all of the indicators that he's not near this fantasy type, and she'll try to force it and try to build her own man. So most often women do this to themselves.
Right.
When they blame men, yes, men are doing everything that you say they're doing. But you keep chasing them. You still choosing them. You still choosing them even in the face of them doing all of these things that you're complaining about.
And they say it on these podcasts all the time.
Yeah, the men are very vocal. Like, the men aren't hiding anything anymore. They're all talking very loudly. And one of the reasons, men don't actually like what I say. The majority of men despise me on the internet. They do. And the reason that they despise me is because I'm not delusional. Because I can repeat verbatim what a man would say to another man on a podcast. It's okay when the men are saying it to each other, because this is just man talk. We know this. We want them. The men would also talk to a woman and tell her the same thing. The reason that the men don't like me and they're okay with verbalizing what I say to women, is because men know that the majority of women will reject what they're saying. They feel comfortable telling women, we're this, we're that, a man will do this, do that, because they know that the women will reject it and try to change the man and try to force him to see her differently. But men say they want submission. They say that, right?
Mm-hmm.